It would be nice to build something for years to come. That is one of the quotes from Quenton Nelson in the media availability yesterday in the Indianapolis Colts YouTube channel, their website. It's very important to see one of the biggest players, one of the most important players of this football team, vocally in the locker room, a leader, just in, talent as well. Very important for one of the biggest players in the locker room, on the team, is buying into Shane Steichen's culture, buying into the new system. He loves it. And you can tell in the interviews and the media availabilities from a lot of these players from this year to last year, to the middle of the year, they were tired of Frank Reich's same old message every single week. Nothing changed. It was the same old crap. No one wanted to hear it. And you could see it in all the media availabilities. You could see it in all the interviews with all the players. You could see it everywhere. It was really obvious that the team was tired of the same bullcrap every year from season to season, week to week. They were always inconsistent, couldn't get it right. They were always doing stupid stuff wrong. And now that Quenton Nelson is buying into the Shane Steichen era, the Shane Steichen culture, that is huge for the rest of the football team, because when your biggest players buy in, when your most important players, your most vocal players in the locker room, just the players that are honest and make sure that the locker room stays together, your leaders, that's what I'm looking for, your leaders, the rest of the team follows. It always starts with the players believing in the coach and the system and what is going on, what is being put in place, what does this coach like to do, does he actually care, is he bringing in something new every single day, is he helping us get better, is he being honest with us, but also when we do something good, that he congratulates you on it, like he's hard on you, but when you do it right, he's there and he's the first one to congratulate you. And that's one of the things Quenton Nelson was mentioning here today is, he's not scared to tell you what is wrong. He makes sure that you know what you need to fix. He's not going to shy away from telling you that, and I feel like that's one thing that Frank Reich did. Frank Reich probably just like, oh, you need to fix this up, move up to the next rep, oh well, not a big deal. And it didn't seem like he really congratulated players as much. Yeah, he did do that, but it seems like Shane Steichen has a different way of doing it, and it's clicking with the players, and it's clicking with one of the most important players, one of the cornerstone pieces of this franchise, in Quenton Nelson. It's just going to be a domino effect for the rest of the team. I'm waiting for Darius Leonard media availability to come on. I want to see how he's feeling, how he's talking. We all know that Kenny Moore had a media availability. He just kind of seems like it might be his last year in Indianapolis, the way he's talking. Very dancing around questions. I mean, players and coaches do that anyways. But, he said he wants to stay in Indianapolis and all that. But, another thing is, it just didn't, having that quarterback as the quote that I opened up this video with, that I opened up this piece with, it would be nice to build something for years to come. It's hard to buy into a new leader at the most important position in the NFL and probably all of sports. Probably the most important position in all of sports. Let's be honest. Really. Having that guy there, having a guy there every year, that's the same. That has this fire, this work ethic, this, just incredible leadership with Anthony Richardson absolutely has. You could see it in the interviews. You see it on the quotes he makes. He's pumped up. He's excited. He makes sure to know that he's going to bring a lot to the team, but he's also going to work his rear end off and his tail off to make sure that they get there, to make sure he does the best that he absolutely can. And, I say this like almost every video. Talent determines floor. The character determines the ceiling, because the talent, oh well, great. But if you don't have great character, if you're not willing to work, to get even better, to just always have that drive to get better, you're not going to. And it's gonna play a domino effect, and it's gonna spread to the rest of the team. And with Carson Wentz, that's what it kind of seemed like with him happened towards the end of the season. They're all like, oh, we're gonna make the playoffs, let's chill out, kind of, that kind of chill attitude. I don't think Carson Wentz is really a leader to begin with. I think he's a great human being. He's just not a good player on the he's just not a good leader in a football team, in a football locker room. Yeah, he does some nice things, but you need to lead by example as a leader, and Anthony Richardson is going to do that. When you see one of the things you really want to see from your quarterback is grit. You want to see grit, like they get hurt, they get hit hard, they're playing hurt, and they're still playing, still putting their heart out there no matter what, it tends to spread. It has a spreading effect on the football team, on any sport, on anything you're doing. If you're the leader, if you're the top dog, you need to lead by example. The rest of the team follows. It tends to move out. It tends, the energy spreads. The energy connects with the players, and then they end up doing it as well. So this was a more important media availability. This is one that we needed. We needed to see how one of our cornerstone players, one of our best players, the best players in the league at his position, I think he's the best left guard. Last year, had a little bit of a down year, but he still had an incredible year. He still had a pretty damn good year. And to say that he had a down year and still had an incredible year, it's impressive. And he's coming back, and you could tell in this interview, Quenton has never been a guy of big words and showing emotion, but you could tell, in some of these questions, he gets a big grin on his face. He's excited to work with a guy like Anthony Richardson, and knowing that you have someone that you could buy into that's not going to leave next season, because when you have to buy into a new quarterback, a new leader every single season, it gets tiring. You don't want to do it anymore. Now that it's in the brain, it's in the mind, now that you think you have someone for the next 10 years, he's definitely going to be here for longer than a year, it changes the mindset. It changes a lot of things. So I'm excited. I really like this media availability. And like I've said in another video, in Hot Take Tuesday actually, I don't think the Colts are going to be great this year. Right? I get it. They have a pretty good team. And they supposedly have a pretty good team. Last year, it was frustrating because we know that this team had talent. And they still do. But at the end of the day, if it's not converting to the field, if it's not hitting the field the same way it was hitting on paper, then who cares? It doesn't matter. It needs to hit right in the field. It needs to make a big impact on the field when it's actually happening in the biggest moments. You need to do little things right. Just none of that was done last year. Nothing. So maybe starting from square one, and sometimes having a guy like, your leader and your head coach, when you lose faith in him, when the head coach goes to the locker room, that changes it too. But at the end of the day, it's not always just the coach's, at the end of the day, it's the coach's job to get them prepared and get them ready and coach them up. But the players also have to play well. It's not all on the coach's responsibility for the players and how they play, but the mindset, that's big. That's one of the biggest ones. Maybe Frank Reich can help these guys play. Maybe he was a really good coach. Up here, maybe he just had a hard time leading the football team. And, having a new leader at the quarterback position, not technically him, having a new leader at the quarterback position, sometimes that makes it hard to buy into Frank Reich as well. So maybe Frank Reich didn't have a legit, fair assessment. But at the end of the day, the team was always making small, little, stupid mistakes that shouldn't have been made. They weren't doing the little things right. And sometimes that's a coaching flaw. So I'm excited for Shane Steichen. Seems like Quenton Nelson is buying into the new culture that Shane Steichen is putting into place. And that's very important for the rest of the team as well. Because, half of it is playing. I'd say half of it is playing. Half of it is work, the dedication, putting your body through things every single day. Just working out hard. Putting in the work. And then the other half is up here. You need to know that you're playing your best. You need to know that you are doing everything right. Because when you have to think about it, that's when the problems arise. So I want you guys to let me know what you think about this culture change. You think Shane Steichen is a guy? Do you think his culture is going to be much better than Frank Reich's? Now, similar situation, him coming from a Super Bowl, a team that made the Super Bowl. This time a team that lost a Super Bowl. You're taking the offensive coordinator from the Eagles again. It's a different situation, though. It's not Frank Reich's fault that Andrew Luck retired 2 weeks before a season. That doesn't happen to every coach. It doesn't happen all the time. And under Frank Reich, the 1 year that Andrew Luck had under him, Andrew Luck had his best year he ever had. That's saying something because he's a pretty damn good quarterback for quite a few years there. So I'm interested to see how Shane Steichen is going to do, though. I think he's much better than Frank Reich. I think he's going to do much better than Frank Reich. It's not going to be very difficult to do worse. I'm not once again, I've said this in yesterday's video like 30 times. I'm not talking crap on these players or the coaches. At the end of the day, it's a business, and you need to always be looking to get better no matter what. So I want you guys to let me know what you think about this situation. I thank you for tuning into the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and the post notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos like this. This is JDW Sports Talk Show, signing off.